Welcome. This is General English 1, Unit 12, and the topic is where we want to live in the future or stay when we travel. Follow along on the worksheet if you have it. If not, that's okay. All right, let's get started. So, look and listen and repeat. What kind of home do you want to have in the future? Again, what kind of home do you want to have in the future? So right now, I live in a very small apartment, a one-room apartment. It's convenient and it's cheap, but in the future, I want to have a bigger apartment, not a big one, just bigger, medium-sized, with a nice living room and a nice kitchen and 2 bedrooms, one which I can use for a guest room or an office. How about you? What kind of home do you want to have in the future? So you can pause the video and practice the conversation, alone or with a partner. Either way, make sure you ask and answer some follow-up questions. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. Okay, and now the vocabulary. So listen and repeat. In a dorm room, in a fancy hotel, in a cabin, in a studio apartment, in a townhouse, in a hostel, in a mansion, in a capsule hotel, on campus, in the country, in a house, in a cheap hotel. You can pause the video and do the answers on your own and then come back for the answers, or just do this with me. Okay, I'm going to say, where do you want to live, or where do you want to stay? And you're going to say, if I'm able to, I'll live or I'll stay in whatever. So number 1, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in a townhouse. You find townhouses in the city. I don't know why they're called townhouses if they're in the city. Number 2, where do you want to stay? If I'm able to, I'll stay in a capsule hotel. Sometimes medicine comes in little capsules, right? Number 3, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in the country. Number 4, where do you want to stay? If I'm able to, I'll stay in a hostel. Number 5, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in a mansion. Number 6, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in a house. Number 7, where do you want to stay? If I'm able to, I'll stay in a cabin. Number 8, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in a dorm room. And number 9, where do you want to stay? If I'm able to, I'll stay in a cheap hotel. Number 10, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live in a studio apartment. Number 11, where do you want to stay? If I'm able to, I'll stay in a fancy hotel. And number 12, where do you want to live? If I'm able to, I'll live on campus. All right, and now the dialogue. So listen and repeat and try to use some emotion and body language. So Marvin, have you thought about what you're going to do after graduation yet? Well, yeah, I've already got a great job lined up. That's awesome. Congratulations. Are you going to get your own place? Definitely. If I can find an inexpensive studio apartment near my job, I'll move out of my parents' house. How about you? You must be excited. Me? Well, I'm just going to take a trip to Australia for a few weeks. Cool, that sounds exciting. Where are you going to stay? Well, if I have enough money, I'll stay in a cheap hotel by the beach. If not, I'll stay in a hostel. Yeah, I understand. Either way, you'll have a blast. A blast. A good time or a bad time? A really good time. Okay, so you can pause the video and practice that again on your own or with a partner. If you practice it with a partner, do it 2 times and switch roles. Either way, change the names and information. Okay, now pronunciation. Pronunciation. So look at my mouth and listen and repeat. Studio, stay, fancy, hostel, capsule, house, campus, place. So Koreans often mix up s and sh. And just like last time with z and j, it's a matter of what you do with your mouth and meaning your lips and your tongue. So z, s, z, s, z, s. Okay, your mouth position's the same, just like with j and sh, your mouth position's the same. So just like with z, you need to relax your mouth, your lips. S, s. Do the same with s, s, s. Make sure your mouth is relaxed, not sh, not j, like z, s. Your mouth should be relaxed. Okay, try that. S, 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 s. And just like with j, 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 sh, 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 sh. Your tongue shouldn't be pushing against your teeth, your tongue. J, sh, j, sh, j is like this. J, sh, sh, sh is a little weaker. Sh, j, sh, sh, sh. Okay, your tongue should be relaxed. Sh, s, 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 s. Z, 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 z is down here. Z, 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 z. S, s is up here. Z is voiced. S is unvoiced. So your tongue is relaxed, your lips relaxed, and you're breathing out. S, studio, stay, fancy, hostel, capsule, house, campus, place. So focus on that sound during this lesson, all right? All right, so here are some example topic questions. So listen and repeat. What kind of home do you want to have in the future? Or next year, or when you graduate, or when you get married? Number 2, if you find a good job after university, where will you live? Number 3, if you don't find a good job after university, what will you do? If you get married, where will you live? 5, where do you want to stay on your next trip? Number 6, if you take a trip to Thailand, what will you do there? Or where will you stay? And you can make some other questions, like if you took a trip to Japan or Thailand, where would you stay? This lesson was supposed to be about the second conditional only, but as you'll see soon, the grammar includes both the first and second conditional. I chose to focus on the first conditional because I thought it would be better for this conversation topic. But anyways, we'll talk about that soon. Practice these conversation questions. alone or with a partner. And of course, make sure you use the system, topic question, person A, follow-up questions, who, what, when, where, how, why. Person B, a switch question, how about you? And some follow-up questions, who, what, when, where, how, why, and a new topic question, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure it's a real conversation, that you're not reading, that it's not an interview or an interrogation or two robots talking. That's a real conversation. Okay, and now the grammar. So the first and second conditionals. All right, so let's look at the sentences in red and blue and think about whether they're in the present tense or past tense, in present time or past time. Okay. Okay. So if you live with your parents, you'll save money. So the verb form, is that here, live, is that present or past? Let me just separate these. Again, if you live with your parents, you'll save money. Live. Is live in the present tense, the verb form, or the past tense? Okay, it's in the present. If you lived with your parents, you would save money. Lived. Just look at that form in isolation. Is that verb tense the present or past? Okay, it's the past. So on the left, we have the first conditional, and the right, the second conditional. There are actually 4 conditionals, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 would be, for example, when it rains, I bring my umbrella. 1, if it rains, I'll bring my umbrella. 2, if it were raining, I would bring my umbrella. And 4, if it had rained, I would have brought my umbrella. We're looking at 1 and 2 today. Okay, so what's the time though? Because in English, tense does not always equal time. So I can say, I have an appointment tomorrow. Have, present tense, tomorrow, future. Present tense, verb form, future time, context. Tense means the verb form. Time means when the action happens. Okay. So the time is, if you live with your parents, you'll save money. Either present or future, it depends on the context. Over here, if you lived with your parents, now or after graduation, you would save money. What's the time? Again, present or future. Okay. So are these situations real or imaginary? Well, the first conditional is real. It's a reality. It's a real possibility about right now. The second conditional is imaginary. It's saying the opposite of what is presently true. If you lived with your parents, you would save money, meaning you're not living with your parents, or you're not planning to live with your parents. If you live with your parents, you'll save money, meaning if you make that decision now or in the future, that's what you'll do. Okay, this is real, this is hypothetical. And we use the past tense not to show past time, but to show that the situation is not real. Okay, other examples, if you live in the country, there will be less traffic. If you lived in the country, there would be less traffic. If you live in the city, you'll save, or you'll have more places to shop. If you lived in the city, you would have more places to shop. Okay. What happened there? Oh well. So the verb form number 8 after the if clause in the first conditional is the simple present. And after the second is the simple past. And in the main clause, first is will plus the base form, and the second is would plus a base form. Okay, and you can finish these sentences on your own while I do this, or you can stop the video and then do it yourself and come back. So if I find a good job after university, so 10, 11, 12, and 13 are in red, first conditional, and 14 blue, second conditional. If I find a good job after university, I will get a nice apartment. Number 11, if I don't find a good job after university, I will get a cheap apartment or stay with my parents or find a roommate. If I get married, we will buy a house. If I take a trip to another country, I will stay in a hostel. If I didn't need a job, I would travel around the world for 5 years. Okay, so now that we've gone over the grammar, you can go back and practice the conversation part again and focus on the grammar, all right, alone or with a partner. And when you're done, make sure you do some extra writing, for some extra practice. Talk about where you might live in the future, where you will or would live in the future, or stay, and use the second conditional and the first conditional. Okay. And make sure you write a paragraph, a group of sentences like this, not a list. All right. Thank you for participating. I'm Jeff Buck, and good luck.